Hello, hello, everybody. All right, I am pumped to actually be getting to actually get to do some code myself now. So let's try out this exercise. But I wanted to try something a little interesting, and let's see if we can have ChatGPT walk us through completing this. Because I know Chrome extensions aren't something that a lot of people deal with all the time, but they have a very standardized way of working. So I thought this might be something that ChatGPT could really excel at, right? All right, so let's give this a try. So ChatGPT is at chat.openai.com, right? Um, and I'm going to ask it something. Let's give it some details about what I want to create, right? Let's say I want to create a Chrome extension that includes an iframe because we want to iframe in our app to this Chrome extension pop-up. Okay, that's not the only way you can build a Chrome extension, by the way. You can do your actual markup and HTML and stuff directly inside the Chrome extension. In fact, that pop-up really is nothing but HTML, and you can even use a Vue application within that pop-up. But since we already have the site built elsewhere, this is the easiest way to go about it, I think. So I want to create a Chrome extension that includes an iframe. Um, let's see, that includes an iframe, and I want that iframe, I want the source of that iframe to accept the URL from the current tab. Let's try that. And I want the iframe to, um, no, and I don't want it to accept the URL from the current tab. I want it to, and I want to set the source of the iframe to localhost 3000 because that's where we're serving our app at. In the production, you would point this, of course, to wherever you're actually hosting it online. But I want to set the source of the iframe to localhost with a query parameter. Okay, with a query parameter of URL that that is the URL of the current tab. Let's see what that gives us. Okay, sit and chill, wait for just a minute. Oh, that's nice. Sure, I can help you with that. Here are the steps you can follow. Excellent. So the first thing I want to do is create a new folder for my extension and add the manifest .json file to it. All right, let's do that while ChatGPT is working. So I've got my project open here, and everybody can see VS Code. I'm making sure I'm sharing the proper screen. I think we're good to go. Let me know if we're not. But I will create a folder now for that. We'll just call it Chrome extension. Okay. And inside of this Chrome extension folder, what it says is I need to first add a manifest.json file and add the tabs permissions. Okay, that is interesting. I happen to know a little bit about Chrome extensions, and I don't think this is necessarily the best way to go, but I let's pretend I don't know anything about Chrome extensions. One thing we might ask ChatGPT is this could work for anything. Is this the latest way of how to do this, or is this the latest version of what I'm trying to accomplish? Let me try that. Let's see. Is this the latest version of the code? Let's try that. Yes, the code provided is the latest version of the code. Okay. However, it has a cutoff date of 2021. It's always a good idea to refer to the official Chrome extension documentation. Okay, good point. Let's check that out. Let's Google Chrome extension documentation. And over here, okay, I'm seeing some different things here. Here's the welcome, extensions 101. Oh, here's something that stands out. As Manifest version 3 approaches full feature parity with version 2, we'll be phasing out Manifest version 2 in 2023. Okay, that's this year. That's very interesting. So I'm going to say, because I did notice right here, we got manifest version 2. Let's say uh, I, I would like this same solution, but using manifest version 3 instead. Let's see if it can keep up with that. Oh, certainly. I can provide an updated version of the solution with manifest version 3. Very cool. So now we get something a little bit different. Okay, that's fair. It now it looks like it updated manifest version 3. However, it looks like everything else is still the same. We've still got tabs here, which isn't exactly what I want. So this is kind of interesting. Let's follow it and see if it works. I think this isn't the necessarily best approach, but let's see if it works. Okay, so I'm going to take this. I'm going to hit the copy code here, and we'll do manifest.json. Okay. All right, so I'll paste that in there. And we get manifest version 3. We have the name of the extension. Let's just call ours um, social media post generator. Okay. It's going to take the tabs permissions. I think this should really be the active tabs permissions, but we'll see that in a minute. And then we have content scripts here and a background service worker. That is, I want the pop-up. So let's see if I can tell it, please adjust the manifest to for displaying a pop-up. Let's try that instead and see what it gives me. Waiting, waiting, waiting. Okay, ChatGPT. Sure. Create a new folder. Yep, got that. So manifest version 3, it's still getting that correct. And the action now is to have a default pop-up. I like that better. And the reason why is because having this action property inside of your manifest.json file that specifies a pop-up, this is exactly how you define which file should show up when you click on the icon. Okay, so let's change out that. I don't want this stuff here. I'm going to put that action in. And from here on, I'm going to just kind of start moving my own direction. It looks like ChatGPT isn't quite on board with me this time around. So manifest version 3 is what you're going to need to publish to the Chrome Web Store. You're going to give your file a name. You're going to give it a version. And if you want to include a pop-up, you have to have this action default pop-up here. And this is going to point to an HTML file that you want to show up whenever you click the extension. So let's give this a try. I'm going to create a new HTML file now called popup.html. And let's just give it some basic HTML here. I'll include the HTML and the head, and the body will just say hello world. Okay, or if I could spell, that might be better. Awesome. So in order to test this out now, what I want to do is right click on my Chrome extension thing here, do reveal in Finder so that I can find this inside of my Finder window. And then I'm going to open up Chrome. I use Firefox by default, so I'm having to open up another window here and visiting Chrome / extensions. Okay. Once I am here, I can see all the extensions I currently have installed in my browser. And if you toggle this little switch up here that says developer mode, you're now able to drag in your local extensions and play around with it. So let me open that Finder back up and drag in my Chrome extensions. Okay, so I've got the social media post generator now. Let's, here is another article that I brought up. I've kind of gotten tired of doing that Laravel article this whole time, but let's just use this page to kind of test with here. If I click on the puzzle piece here, you can see there is my Chrome extension, and I'll pin it. And now when I click on it, sure enough, hello world displays in the pop-up. This is awesome. So now what I can do is display my iframe, right? Okay, so let's add in an iframe here. We want the source to be HTTP localhost 3000. And now I can't just click directly in here again. Oh, I can. I thought I was going to have to refresh it over here. If for some reason your display doesn't pop up as you expect it to, you can always come right here and hit the refresh button, and that just reloads your extension. Okay, so now I do have the app showing up. Let's make this a little larger. I'll give it a height. Let's just say 700. You could probably be a little bit better about, you know, styling these things. But let's see what that does. Okay, cool. So now I've got the app inside of my pop-up window. Next, I want to pass in the URL of the current page. So not this Chrome extensions page, but this article page or whatever page I'm currently on into my application. All right, so let me make sure I do have the proper permissions for that. So in order to access the data about the current tab, I do need to say permissions. Is it permissions? It is permissions. Okay, permissions. And the permission I want to give it is the active tab. Okay, so that means I now have the ability to grab the active tab. Now, the URL from the active tab. Now, let me go back to ChatGPT here because it's not all for loss, I think. Here it gives me the information about grabbing that URL of the current tab, right? So in the popup.js file, add the following code to get the current tab's URL. And then this one here says create a popup file. Yeah, I'm kind of going backwards, aren't I? But this is right. This is not bad. So let's take the script tag, okay, and let's add that to our popup.html file. So we can reference. I think I had to do // here to begin with, but this is how you would import your JavaScript into your HTML file. You cannot include a script tag and do your JavaScript directly in here. It causes issues. Okay, so that means I need to open up the popup.js file here, and then I'll paste in this bit. Okay. So chrome.tabs.query, let's get the active one. That's cool. And then then let's grab the current URL, and then let's get the iframe, and then let's add the source. So I see what it's doing. Let's just give this the proper ID equals what did it say? iframe. Okay. We'll remove the source since it looks like this is adding that source in there. And then it's adding the URL on the end. Excellent. Okay, let's save that and see what happens. Opening Chrome back up here. Let me refresh the extension to make sure we're good to go. And I'll refresh my page. Excellent. Okay, I hit it. We do still have the page showing up. If I inspect, let's see if that URL is on there. Oh, check that out. So now we have localhost 3000, but then we have this URL parameter, and that URL parameter is this current file, or this current page. Awesome. Okay, now it's just a matter of altering my app to take in this URL and then run the generation whenever it finds it. Now, I do like to be a little bit more explicit sometimes and making sure that the app knows this is coming from the extension. So maybe a user just provides the URL, directly inside of inside their search bar or inside the URL bar there. So I do want to also add another query onto here saying is extension maybe. and we'll just set that to true. Okay, excellent. So that really takes care of the extension itself. Let's now modify the application. Um, what do I need to do? I need to remove the form since we no longer have to input that. And yeah, let's do that first. Okay, so over in what do we got? We have components and we have the social media profile post generator. Here is where our form is. So I can get that that URL query parameter by saying const router equals use. It's the route. So let's check the current route. Well, then we can say route dot query dot in, what did I say it? In extension. Is that what I said? Let's go to popupdate.js is extension. Okay. So if is extension exists, then we want to set hide form to true. So we'll say computed, and whenever is extension equals true, then hide form will be true. Okay. All right. I'll take hide form, put it on my, oops, that should be v if. I'll put it on my form down here. What are we doing? So if not hide form, that makes sense. Let's check things out now. I will refresh the extension, refresh my page here. And honestly, I shouldn't have to refresh the extension anymore because it's all about what's happening in the iframe, not the actual extension code. And unfortunately, we do not have that do not have that hidden, of course. So what is going on? Let me check. Let's console log. It looks like I don't have access to my my Vue DevTools in there, but that's okay. Let's go to localhost 3000 in an actual tab. So this is one way you can work with your Chrome extensions. With the pop-up, you don't necessarily have to view it inside of the pop-up. You could view it in a full tab like this. Okay, so here is Vue. And URL form here, social media post generator is actually what I want. So right now, hide form is false, right? So what I could do is add in URL up here equals, then I'll paste in this guy here. Okay, and then I also want to do and is extension equals true, right? So we got popup.js. Oh, I forgot to put the and in here. I think that's part of it, but let's see. So and extension equals true. Yeah, now the form hides. So I updated the extension code itself. That means I should probably refresh my extension, but now, sure enough, the form is hidden. Excellent. Next, let's generate the post based on the URL from the form. Okay, so here, once again, I could say the URL is route.query.url. All right. So if the URL exists, you know what? Let me go ahead. Let me just add this directly into our form, right? We're already keeping up with this URL somewhere. We might as well not add another temporary variable. No reason for that. Okay, so I've got route.query.url up here. That means I have to move route above my form, right? Just because JavaScript. And if it doesn't exist, we'll just make that an empty string. Excellent. Okay, so let's see what that is doing for us so far. Back in this page here, I can open up my Vue DevTools. And for the social media post generator, yeah, we can see that that URL is in fact in the form now. And if I was actually showing my form, you'd be able to see that it was the value within the input. But since we don't we don't have a form anymore to submit. What we want to do is just automatically generate those. So what we can do down here, we've got handle form input, and I think that should basically be what we call, right? So we could say if the form, this is a reactive ref, so if the form dot value dot URL exists, so if we have a URL when the page loads, we call handle import. And I want form.value essentially to be what it already is. I'm cool with the values it already has. So we'll say form.value there. Okay. So essentially, what this did is it took the value of the form that was on the page and added it to the reactive variable form. We're saying the value of reactive variable form is cool as it is. We don't have any new values to add. So just pass that back into the function. Okay. So now with that in place, let me refresh the page. And let's see, form.value.url. We do have an issue here. It looks like I should be getting the generation now, I think. So cannot read properties of undefined reading generate. So the issue here is that we have used these components down here to call their own generate functions, right? So right here we have card Twitter, and it has a ref of Twitter card on it. We had card Facebook right here, and it has a ref of Facebook card. So if we come up here, you'll notice that lines up to lines 9 and 10. So these are called template refs, right? So template refs can be DOM elements, but they can also be components. And the reason this is not working is because these components haven't mounted yet. So we need to wait for on mounted. Okay, so I'll do on mounted. And then we'll do this check here. Awesome. All right, let's see if that's any better. Oh, I can already see the little loaders doing their thing. Okay, I think it's working as expected. Let me refresh the page though, just so we can see it in the actual flow. Yep, so we hit the page, the loaders start a-going, and everything seems to be working great. Now let's try it out for this page. I'll hit my Chrome extension. Sure enough, we get the loaders appearing over here, and now we have these generated for the current page. It says, learn how to easily implement drag and drop functionality in your Vue.js app. So it is specific to this current page. I can hit post, and it goes to Twitter. This is super, super great. All right. What else do I need to do? Let me go back to the prompt and see if there was anything that I have missed. So iframe in the application window, provide the current tab, hide the URL form, hide the chat widget. Oh, yeah, let's hide the chat widget. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense here to have that chat widget showing up at the bottom. And it's actually all the way down there anyway, so it didn't really seem to matter. So let's just skip that. I don't want to spend too much time on things like that. What else do we need to do? Take the URL provided via the query param. We have done that. Excellent. So I'm getting some feedback here from Shay that says, or Shy, I believe it is, excuse me. For the width and height of the pop-up, you could add the style with width and height for the body on popup.html. So excellent. Yeah. Maybe try that out as well in your own projects. Okay. So the other part is here, I do want to provide a nice icon for my extension. Right now it's kind of plain and boring, right? I could have also styled these differently, by the way, but yeah, that's just styling. And you could check for that Chrome extension. You could check for this, where is it? You could check for this is extension query in a composable perhaps, and then you could use that throughout your application, right? So actually, you know what? Let's just go ahead and do that really quickly so that we have a nice reusable way of knowing this is within the extension. Okay, so here I will do use um, Chrome extension maybe, or use is Chrome extension .ts. Okay, then I'm going to type in a little shortcut I have up in VS Code here. This is just a quick way I have to generate code for a composable. Super easy to create your own VS Code snippets, by the way. You can learn more about that in our VS Code course. But here, I just want to take this exact same thing that I've done here. I'm just going to return that. Okay? So I can return computed. And is it the extension? Yeah, this works great. I just need to actually use the use route composable now, though. Okay? Now, we could even shorten this, I think, to one line, right? Since it's an arrow function. So that's pretty cool. Okay, let's give that a try now. So now my hide form will be the result of use is Chrome extension. Excellent. So now my form should still be hidden, right? Right now I am is extension true up here. If I refresh the page, yes, my form is still hidden. And then I could go about doing other things with my is Chrome extension. Let's just go to app.view. And why not? Let's do hide that chat widget. So up here, I'll say script setup. Okay. We'll add lang equals ts. And then I'll say const hide chat equals use is Chrome extension. Okay. So we want to hide the chat when we're in the Chrome extension. So if not hide chat, then show the chat widget. Excellent. All right, so refresh this page. In fact, the chat widget is gone, and we're good to go. And we've made a very reusable way of checking what environment we're in. Excellent. Okay, so that last piece of this is getting. Oh, this is super meta, right? I just clicked this on our own application page. What is going to happen? Weird. Yeah, it says, check out this fantastic tutorial on how to implement drag and drop in Vue. Not sure what that's about. It looks like it's still checking out this page. But anyways, let's generate the image for this icon now. Okay. The way I did that is with Midjourney. So Midjourney is a super cool AI for generating images. And it actually, the entire thing lives inside of Discord. Okay. You can sign up for Midjourney at, I think it's midjourney.com, right? Let's check that out here. So Midjourney. Okay. Waiting for just a moment. Yes, it is midjourney.com. Okay, and once you're in, you get a profile kind of something like this. All right. If I explore inside of the different options here for that other people have made, I can actually see the prompts that other people have used to generate their images. So let's say I wanted to generate an icon that's like kind of an SVG style. I want it to be pretty, plain looking. So I'm going to search in here for icon SVG and see what other people have come up with. All right. Oh, these are some nice looking icons. I really like the look of this one. Let me copy the prompt. Okay. Actually, let me just copy the prompt. And then over in Midjourney in the Discord channel, I can say imagine, which is the command for using Midjourney. And then I'm going to paste in my prompt. Okay. So it's an icon with a square shape with rounded edges, a white background. I want it to be creative. All that looks good. Let me add in my keywords though. Let's say I want it to be a social sharing icon. Let's see what that gives me. All right. I wait just a few minutes. This is the thing with all AI, right? You have to sit around and wait, maybe check Twitter for a minute, whatever the case may be. And I did generate some of these for you, by the way, um, inside of the exercise prompt. So if you don't have a Midjourney account, you could use those, or you could come up with your own. Of course, you don't have to use AI to do the artwork for you, right? This is just a super fast way for people who are a little less creative, like myself, to get this kind of stuff done. And we are almost complete. 62% it says. And to be honest, y'all, the the percentage on these Midjourney things is kind of crazy because it goes and it goes and it goes, and then it really looks good on that last one. It doesn't look really good until the last one usually. Okay, there are several different options for me to choose from. This is 1, this is 2, this is 3, and this is 4. That's important to note because your options down here relate to that order. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. And the 2 sets of options I have are 1, upscale any of these, or 2, give me a different variation of one of these. So let me see what it looks like just a little bit different. So I think I really like number 4 down here. Let's try some variations on that. By the way, Midjourney is technically free to use. However, a lot of the times without my paid account, I found they're unavailable. It's too busy, right? But this cost me about $10 a month to use, and I think it's totally, totally worth it. So it is still working on those variations there. Oh, excellent tip in the chat that I could also use the --AR flag and then provide a ratio in order to get a perfectly square image. That's an excellent tip. Okay, so I still like, yeah, that's terrible. I still like this one here. I think the best, and actually, it's too different. It's kind of got the rounded edges. This one up here is still my favorite. So what I want to do now is hit upscale version 4. Now, for our particular use case, it's probably not necessary to upscale because, well, you know, we want a tiny Chrome extension, but now I can open this up in the web browser. Okay, I can copy my image. Then you can take it into your favorite editor, your favorite photo editor. I like to use Photoshop. So I'll open up Photoshop here, add a new file from my clipboard. I'll just paste this in, and I'm going to crop it down to, let's see, what are my sizes? 128 is the largest size. Let's just do a 128. So I'll take my crop to, what is the best way to do this in Photoshop? I'll just make it square and then I'll size it down to 128. How about that? That looks pretty good. Have some white around the edges, but maybe not too much, right? Something like that. A little off center, but I'm okay with it. And I'm still fairly old school, so yes, I still use the Save for Web tab. And it looks like I'm at 538 now, so I will say 128 here. Okay, and save it. So now let's save it over in my project. So that is, where is this project? I'm looking for Vue.js Forge, the official project. We're looking for the Chrome extension, and then I'll just plop this right in here. We'll say icon. Okay. And then, so here's our Chrome extension. Here is our icon. Excellent. Let's open up the manifest, and now we'll add in icons is the key we're looking for. And I'm looking for size 128. All right, and that's just going to be the file right here in this current folder. So icon.jpg. All right, I think that should work. Let's see what we get. By the way, y'all, I have like zero conception of how much time I've been using up to this point. So, Jen, feel free to stop me at any point in time. This is just too much fun. Okay, so let's go back to Chrome. Lots of windows open up now. My apologies. And let's do a refresh here. It reloaded. I do have my icon is not showing now. So that's interesting. I have done something wrong. Maybe it actually does need the other sizes. Let's just provide that same one for all of the sizes. And then in a real life application, what you would want to do is actually resize that, right, to be the appropriate size. So we want 16 and we want 48 as well. Okay. And then let's just point all of those to this icon JPEG. Excellent. All right, I'll give the browser icon a refresh. Oh, it still doesn't like that. That's very unfortunate. Let's see, what have I done wrong here? We've got the icons. We're pointing it to, maybe I don't need the dot slash on the beginning. Let's give that a try. Icon.jpg, this is correct. Maybe I need to save it as a PNG. Not 100% there. Okay, refreshing. And yeah, it's still broken. Let's try throwing it out as a PNG, y'all. I will save this. We're going to go to PNG 24 and save that out to same file structure here. So icon.png. By the way, if anybody sees what I'm doing wrong, definitely feel free to point it out to me. I've done a couple Chrome extensions in my life, and they were very helpful internal tools for the company I was working at. But yeah, I rely on ChatGPT to help me out with some of this. There it is. We needed the PNG. Okay, so here we have our nice fancy icon now, and everything is working as expected. By the way, you're not limited to just adding things inside a pop-up with a Chrome extension. Of course, there's so much more you could do. You could actually interact, with the current page's DOM. You could inject certain things into that current page's DOM, and tons of other options for your browser extensions. But yeah, I think we have completed that exercise, everybody. Let's take it to questions.
I'm getting there. There's so many options that like, wait, yay, I get to ask you questions. I'm excited.
Excellent. Did I catch you too early, Jenna? How long did it take? I'm curious. Don't know. Okay, no worries. I literally lost track of time.
Well, I was watching and I was like, and you mentioned like, oh, if this is taking too much time, and I'm like, but it's really interesting. You can keep going. I'm intrigued by this. I like that you mentioned the differences between like Mid-Journey and like other options you could do. And when you went into PowerPoint to do it, I'm like, I would have gone into Canva. I do not have PowerPoint skills, but hey.
No, Jen. Photoshop. No PowerPoint here.
Oh yeah, Photoshop. Wow.
Words are hard. It's all good.
That's what we're at. I mean, after talking all day, it's just gonna happen. And yes, okay. So, oh, thank you. 40 minutes. That is how long it was. 40 minutes.
Spot on.
So, all right. Question time. Question that's not in here yet, but I'm going to ask you before anything else. As a Vue School teacher, instructor, creator, what is your favorite part about creating all of this content that like other people get to learn from and enjoy?
Yeah, great question. Working with computers is cool and all, and I think I'm pretty good at it. But computers don't show appreciation like people do. And that's one of the things I really love about teaching people at Vue School. Like, I can see the impact it has on them. I can see the value I'm adding to their lives. And I just, I mean, honestly love getting the feedback that, hey, this is helping me. And when you're staring at a computer screen all day long, and yeah, sure, it responds in terms of doing what you want, and maybe sometimes not so much. But getting that response from human beings is really, really amazing. I just love being able to add the value to people's lives, and know I'm making a difference. Sounds
Thank
cheesy,
you.
but it's
No,
true.
I appreciate it because I love all the questions that we've had all week for every or 2 days for everybody. And it's a bit of also learning that human aspect. So thank you for handling the curveball. All right. So actually about your talk of and what we learned of, have you built any Chrome extensions for real life use cases?
Sure. So, as I kind of mentioned just a little bit, I have made a couple, but let me elaborate because I think the use cases are really nice. So, uh, the my job prior to working at Vue School, you could say basically we're a lead factory. Okay, uh, producing leads for our clients, and it meant a couple of different things. It meant we were producing all kinds of landing pages all the time, with systems we had built, and it also meant we were testing the forms. Right, I wasn't personally, but our teams were testing the forms on these landing pages all the time to make sure we're getting the leads to the proper places. And so, two Chrome extensions I built out of that. One was a Chrome extension to help um, connect our disparate landing pages to the source where they would be edited. Because all these landing pages were hosted on different domains, it was hard to like share sessions and things like that. So we were able to make a Chrome extension that did a lot of this for us, and we had an API, and basically we just stored the auth token in the Chrome extension, so everybody could interact with the pages that way. Um, we also, because everybody was testing forms all the time, we made this custom Chrome extension for filling out these forms. One, it saved people time, but two, it also meant we could add in custom values to particular fields so that on the back end we could tell which forms were us testing and which forms were not, and other cool little things like that. So yes, there's a lot of value in building Chrome extensions to share on the Chrome Web Store, but there's also a lot of value in building them for internal tools for yourself or for your own company. That's been my experience anyway.
Yay. And I love that. I feel like that's something a lot of us don't always remember is, hey, we don't have to build it for the public. We can build
Yeah,
it for us to have more automation and proficiency. Next
absolutely.
question. Any other resources you'd like to recommend for working with AI and Vue?
Other resources for working with AI and Vue. That's a good question. Somebody mentioned in the chat Stable Diffusion. That's a pretty cool alternative to Midjourney. It's another great way for generating images. Other AI to interact with Vue.
I'm going to
Um,
pause you really quick just because that leads to our next question too. They're kind of
okay.
intermingled of what AIs are your personal favorite for image generation? Dream Studio, Midjourney, Blue Willow, Dolly. There are so many nowadays, and it's kind of difficult to choose. And you already mentioned a different one that's not even listed. So, like, I'm going to go back to the first question, but keep in mind this is another question.
Yes, absolutely. So honestly, Dolly is great because it has the REST API connected to it, right? That's why we used it in one of the earlier exercises. Um, but if you use it long enough, you don't have to use it very long. Its results are clearly inferior to what you get with Midjourney. And maybe I'm just not doing it right, and there's some more like prompt stuff I need to explore to get things right with Dolly. But Dolly is good because it has the REST API. Midjourney, unfortunately, doesn't have a REST API, but it gives the best results by far that I have used. I've tried out Stable Diffusion a little bit. It works great. But Midjourney honestly has just been my favorite to work with. The results are pretty effortless. And it has some really nice like little flags and things you can do um, to get the image just how you want it. Like you could have repeatable backgrounds. You could make an image that would work well as a repeatable background. You could customize the size of the image. You can do other cool little things like that.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, thank you again. And just to show everybody one more time, it was a two-part question that also included a personal favorite for image generation. And Daniel went through a bit of why on each of them and like access in each of them. So thank you for that. And that is all we have for you today. You are wrapping up the 2-day experience, journey, fun, adventure. And thank you for being our guide through the entire process.
Thank you very much, Jen. I've thoroughly enjoyed it, and I hope everyone has had a blast, but also learned a few things that's going to help them out.
Definitely. I know I did. I learned a ton. So thank you.